Hi, everybody. How are you? It's Dana. I'm so happy to be here with you live today on Facebook. And I am Dana Lavoie, in case any of you were not well acquainted yet. I am an acupuncturist and herbalist in Eugene, Oregon, where it is a little rainy today, which you might think it's always rainy here, but actually, in the spring and summer, it's not, but it is today, which is nice. The flowers are so happy. Anyway, I help women to feel amazing during and after menopause using customized Chinese herbs supported by the best diet and lifestyle for their hormones. And today I'm talking about something kind of special that has to do with the Chinese medicine sort of whole mindset and approach to menopause. Now, I have one of the ways I have a blog and a free Facebook group and a YouTube channel and all kinds of ways that I share information. But one of the ways that I share information is I have an online program on how to use Chinese herbs during and after menopause that matches you up with customized Chinese herbs that change with you all through the years of menopause and postmenopause, and where you work closely with me to get the true power of those customized herbs. It happens to be open for enrollment right now. I'm going to be starting up with a new group of students on Monday, June 1st. So if you have any interest in that, check it out because it's not going to be open again for many months. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk about that today was why you might want to think about getting started with Chinese herbs and Chinese medicine for your hormones now instead of a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 3 years from now. And to tell you, kind of explain this to you from the Chinese medicine perspective, I want to tell you a story about a soup recipe. So in China, there's this tradition. It's not always done in modern China, but there's quite a strong tradition in China that after a woman gives birth to her first child, she is supposed to basically lie in bed for 30 days and be waited upon hand and foot by friends and family members while they help take care of her other kids and her household and cook these nourishing soups for her with special herbs in them. And also sometimes they will put like placenta and things like that in, but these nourishing soups filled with herbs to replenish the deep Jing level energy that she basically gave away to the baby during the pregnancy and the birth. Because having the birth of your first child is one of two times in a woman's life when it is considered a major crossroads where if you do the right thing now, if you take good care of your health now, you can choose the path that your health is going to be on for the next approximately 1/3 of your life. So after the birth of your first child is one of those times in Chinese medicine. And that's why they think it's so important to really take 30 days to fully replenish your energy after giving birth. The second time, the only other time in a woman's life that's considered that major of a crossroads in your health, when you have this choice, it's like what you do now determines which path your health is going to be on for the next 1/3 of your life, and that is menopause. Menopause is considered a big crossroads in a woman's life, and the way that she takes care of herself during menopause is going to determine a lot about which path she's on afterwards. I mean, yes, once you're past it and you're on a certain path, there's a lot you can do to still improve your health, but the amount of change that you can create in your health is heightened during menopause because everything's changing anyway. So it's a really great time to stick in an oar and do some of the right things to really put yourself on the path for great health and aging after menopause. And I wanted to share with you just really quickly, you guys, this won't take long, a couple of quotes from Dr. Mao Shang-ni, who is like a really, really, really famous Chinese medicine doctor, very poetic as well. And when he's talking about menopause, he says, you know, of course your hormones, right, are declining. Your body's making less hormones. And so a lot of women think they need to take hormones during or after menopause. But he says Chinese medicine has long recognized that the body is fully capable of regenerating and supporting the natural production of all the essential hormones through natural means. So it's safe, effective, and sustainable over a woman's lifetime, that you can actually teach your body to rejuvenate itself using Chinese medicine during and after menopause to get your body to continue to make its own hormones. And then they believe that you can really absolutely do that during and after menopause with natural methods. Now, he also says it's important to get ready for the changes ahead. So, if you're in menopause, if you're in the first part of it and you're in the middle of it, if it's coming down the road at you, he says it's important to get ready for the changes ahead. By making certain changes now with diet, with lifestyle, with herbs, you can avoid unnecessary suffering down the road. So, that is one of the things that is important from a Chinese medicine perspective, is to not go too far down the road of letting your body get out of balance, letting your hormones drop too low, letting that have an effect on all the cells in your body, and then trying to regain it. If you can prevent it in the first place, if you can keep your hormones higher in the first place, if you can keep from going down that more unhealthy road in the first place, if you can help your body maximize hormone production all through the change, so that as soon as your ovaries start making less hormones, your adrenals start making more hormones, right? Like, help your body just through that whole change every step of the way, instead of waiting for there to be a problem and then trying to fix it. You're going to have better results the first way. So he says in Chinese medicine, a menopause is known as a second spring. A woman's second spring is the renaissance of youthful vitality and sexual vigor she enjoys when she takes advantage of the secrets and natural powers of Chinese medicine. So, Chinese medicine is absolutely geared towards helping menopause be this incredibly wonderful time. But the idea is to start with the right diet and lifestyle and herbal remedies before menopause even begins, right? And keep your body supported and help it make the change the right way all the way through. It keeps menopause comfortable, and it puts you in that place of your body continuing to rejuvenate itself by continuing to make hormones after menopause. So this is the kind of Chinese medicine perspective that I wanted to give you. This is the reason not to wait a year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years to start using Chinese herbal medicine. In China, you're going to want to start like around 28 or 30 years old, right? So when your hormones first start to decline towards perimenopause, that's when you want to start supporting them ideally. And then you adjust your herbs to support every little twist and turn that they take through menopause when they're going kind of nuts. And you continue to support your body's ability to rejuvenate itself and make those hormones after menopause. And as I said, it's just so much easier to support them in the first place, and to kind of prevent problems before they happen, or imbalances just as they start to happen. So if anybody has any questions, please put them in the comments box. I'd love to take a break and answer them for you. I've got my eye on the comments, so put them in there and they'll pop up, and I'll answer them for you. But I wanted to give you a little idea of how what I was just talking about would play out in sort of like everyday life, because here in the West, we're not used to doing things preventatively. So we're not used to being like, oh, I'm 30 years old, I should start taking some herbs now to support my hormones, so that when I really start menopause in 5 or 10 years, it's going to be easier. That's the way we look at it in Chinese medicine. So in America, it's more common for women to just kind of wait until there's a problem, wait till they have severe hot flashes, or they're gaining weight that's going around their middle that they can't lose, or wait until they're having recurrent UTIs, or wait until they're having, they haven't slept well in 6 months or something like that. So these are all signs that hormones are either too low or hormones are a little bit out of balance. Or, sometimes it's like you're already past menopause and you're having like severely dry eyes, or you're starting to be flagged as, borderline, like osteopenia, borderline for osteoporosis, right? So once you started down this path, your cells are starting to go in that direction of degeneration, you can use your herbs to support bringing them back, but it's so much more effective to prevent it in the first place. And every time you spend a year going down that road towards degeneration, it's hard on your body on a cellular level. It can even make a difference to your DNA on an epigenetic level. So the more you can do preventatively, the better. So that is why I recommend not waiting. Even if you start with something very minimal, one herbal formula you take once a day, just support the one area in your body that is, just sort of genetically the weakest, right, in terms of hormones and aging. Just start to get that one basic herb on board. Or maybe you notice a couple of other little things, whether it's some increased food sensitivities, or you want to give your immune system a little support, or you're a little bit tired, or you're just a little bit hot. You can just start small, but start to get those herbs on board to, as the book said, support your body and teach your body, guide your body into rejuvenating itself with Chinese medicine each year that goes by during and after menopause. If you can kind of guide your body onto that path, like I was saying at the beginning, menopause is this huge crossroads in your health. Guide your body onto the right path, and you're setting yourself up for the whole next 1/3 of your life being on that path of good health. So if you decide to join, you can start using things to help you feel better now and set you up for better health in the future. But it's also something that can start to even change cycles and patterns that you've had for a long time, whether it's a stress issue or a sleep issue or an overthinking issue or not having motivation to exercise or over exercising or a sweet tooth. Chinese medicine can help with all these types of patterns. And let's see, let me just check my notes and see. Yeah. So every year that you wait to get started with Chinese medicine and Chinese herbs, it gets harder to build your hormone levels back up to where you want them to be. Whereas if you can prevent them from dropping too low in the first place, it's better. It's harder to reverse, joint degeneration in your knee. It's harder to rebuild bones than to maintain your joints and maintain your bones. It's easier to maintain your hormone levels than to rebuild them after they've already dropped down. And another reason that I think it's really important to have the herbs on board now rather than later is so that you learn how to use them, you know where they are, and they're just kind of there waiting for you. Because when we're going through menopause, we never know when something funky is going to happen. And again, I know this is a lot of sort of like Chinese medicine theory, you guys, so please feel free to pop in the comments and let me know any questions, or if I say something you're like, I don't see how that could be true, just put it in the comments and let's talk about it. And if you're watching the replay, you can put it in the comments later as well. But as I was saying that, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so when we go through menopause and post-menopause, it's amazing how quickly weird, crazy symptoms can pop up. Like you can think, I'm doing pretty well. I've got some mild hot flashes, but they're not bad. Everything's pretty darn good. And then you wake up one day and it's like, oh my goodness, what happened overnight? Something changed so quickly or got intense so quickly. Like all of a sudden you're gaining weight, or all of a sudden you're not sleeping, or all of a sudden, something weird is going on and your joints started hurting. And when that happens, like for me, the first thing that happened was I had these crazy mood swings during PMS when I hit perimenopause. I mean, they were like out of control. I was crying, I was yelling at people. So when that happens, it can be so scary, you guys. It can be like, who is this person that took over my body? Like, this is not my body. This is not the way I want to feel. This is not my mind. I can't think clearly, right? When that happens, it can be so frightening. Like, whoa, is this just how it's going to be from now on? Is this because I'm getting older? Like, is this going to last for the 10 years of menopause? Like, how am I going to live my life with this going on? Whereas if you have herbs, if you already know how to use herbs, you're like, oh, my hormones must have gotten a little tweaked. And you go in and you figure out, okay, for this particular crazy symptom to support it, all I need is this formula and this formula. You start on it right away, and in just a few weeks, it's like, whew, got that under control. And having that tool in your back pocket, that sort of herbalist in your back pocket, that ability every time a new issue crops up to just be like, ooh, yeah, that's too much. I don't want to live with that one. I'm going to do something about that. And to know just what you can do, to know how to go figure out which formulas are exactly what are matched up with that, and get started on them and know right where to get them. Like having that when you need it, instead of when that crazy symptom is happening, running around and trying to find a solution. And then this doesn't work and that doesn't work, or you can't. I mean, it's like you're already not feeling well, and to have to scramble and figure out what's going to work, it's not a great time. Whereas if you already have the herbs, if you've already tried them, you know they agree with your system, you know you like taking tinctures better than tablets. Like if you're already a little bit familiar with them and with the process of using them, when something like that happens, it's like, oh yeah, I remember reading about that, you know, in the program, like the crazy hot flashes or the weight gain or the insomnia or the dry eyes. It's like, I'm just going to go back and check what the herbs were for that, right? So knowing that you have that power to control those hormonal discomforts when they arise, I mean, talk about something that keeps you up at night, right? That would, if I didn't know I could have that kind of control over hormonal symptoms, I would be up at night worrying about what's going to happen in the next 10 years as I go through menopause, you know? But so having that power is incredibly comforting. And as I said earlier, it's very protective for your health. So these are the reasons that I encourage you to jump in and join my online herbal program. It's called Menopause Made Easy with Chinese Herbs. And it is a way that you can find the herbs that are customized to whatever's going on with you in the moment, all during and after menopause. Every time something changes, you just hop back into the program because you've got lifetime access. You just hop back in, plug in the new information about how you're feeling and what just happened, and get out the herbs that you need now. And then, you know, a few months down the road, something might change again. So it keeps those herbs updated with you over time. It's so powerful. And at every step along the way, there's a preventative wellness niche. You know, you're not really having any discomforts, everything is in good balance, but you maybe just want to give a little support to topping off those anti-aging energy reserves in a way that's balanced for your stage of menopause where you're at right now. You can do that. It's very minimalist. You know, you just take a little bit once a day, but it's like you've got the lines of communication open. So whenever something happens, you can just go plug in the new herbs that you need. And that gives you so much peace of mind. And it means that when something does get out of balance, you correct it so much more quickly. And we talked earlier about how that's so protective for your health, to kind of get it under control right away instead of letting it stay out of balance until your blood pressure's been high for a year, until you've been, you know, 20 pounds overweight for a year, until your knee's been hurting for a year. Those are always harder to correct after they've been around for a longer period of time. So that's really why I encourage you to get started with the herbs now, get in the program. Plus, not to mention that because of COVID, there's an incredible mini course on using herbs for the immune system. And I decided to put off raising the price. So you can get in now lifetime access. You can get the immune mini course. It's such a good time to join. So that's my online program, Menopause Made Easy with Chinese Herbs. And it really, really brings that magic of Chinese medicine, where Chinese medicine, those quotes, if you weren't here at the beginning, I was reading some quotes from Chinese medicine about menopause, how it's this incredible time of rejuvenation and sexual vigor, you know, for women. It's supposed to be, if they harness the power of Chinese medicine to remind their body how to rejuvenate itself, and that the body is capable of continuing to make all the hormones and substances that you need in the years during and after menopause for you to feel amazing, but that it works so much better preventatively than trying to fix it after it's already kind of crashed and burned. So that is what I call, let's look at what's happening a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, right? Menopause is this huge crossroads. It's a time when you choose the path your health is going to be on. And so I encourage you to get started right away with at least a very minimalist program of Chinese herbs. Get familiar with the process, get familiar with using them, so that like maybe when things get worse down the road and you need them, you can put them into play immediately. And of course, if you're already in the middle of the process or more towards the end and you need support and rebuilding, you definitely don't want to wait to get started, because the longer something goes downhill, the harder it is to bring it all the way back up the hill. So do you guys have any questions? I see some of you are on there watching. This is this sort of Chinese medicine way of looking at things is so different from what we're conditioned to here in the States where I grew up. And I'd really love to know what you think about this. Is this something you've heard about before? Is this something you feel like you put into practice in other ways in your life? Is this something that you've maybe been meaning to put into practice? Like, you know, I knew if I ate right, and oh, hi, Miriam. You know, I knew if I ate right, and I knew if I, you know, meditated, and I knew if I took herbs that I would, you know, probably feel better 6 weeks and 6 months from now, but I can't quite seem to make it happen. I've only been to the gym, you know, well, not the gym because of COVID, but I've only really done a good exercise workout once in the past month, and that's probably not enough. I just can't quite seem to, get these healthy things happening on a regular enough basis. It's interesting, but that's another way that the herbs can help. So one way is in terms of like, well, should I start with a healthy diet or should I start with herbs? I always say diet sets the foundation, right? Like, in a way, you should start with diet because it's more basic and it helps the herbs to work so much better. And some women, who have really blessed genetics, a really good diet and lifestyle might be enough for their body to rejuvenate itself and make all those hormones that they need during and after menopause without help from herbs. Some women can do that. Most of us need a little help, but some can do that. But anyway, for the rest of us, Miriam says, has been a few years. Oh, things have gone downhill, so probably should get on it now. Yeah, absolutely. The longer, whenever someone comes to see me in a Chinese medicine, context, like if someone has a pain somewhere that they've had for a month, I'm like, oh, great. It's only been there for a month. We can get it back out of there. If someone comes to me with a pain that they've had in the same place for 20 or 25 years, like they've had arthritis in that knee and it's just been getting worse and worse and worse for 20 or 25 years, then I know that I can help, but can I get it all the way back to where it was 25 years ago? Probably not. It's sort of like you can usually kind of stop the degeneration. How much of it you can repair, that's a little bit more questionable. So if you start the process of supporting it and stopping or really, really slowing down the degeneration before it happens, that's better. So, if it's been a few years, better now than 3 or 4 more years down the road. Like there's just no substitute for implementing this powerful anti-aging magic that Chinese medicine has to offer. There's diet, there's lifestyle, and there's herbs. The herbs I feel like are the most targeted for hormones and the most powerful, but they definitely work better when used with the right diet and lifestyle. So ideally you would do them all, and a few key supplements, so over different ways that I work, I can try to help you put them all together. But the herbs are kind of like the heavy hitters and they do the most on their own. Plus, what I was going to say too is if you're thinking like, yeah, I should probably be exercising more or eating better or doing more, but I just don't seem to get around to it, or I don't do it regularly, or I can't stay away from the sugar, or I can't, it's like the thing about the herbs is they can sort of what feels like improve your willpower. Like they can help you get into healthy habits. I describe it like this. Say you want to walk through a doorway. Like you on this side of the doorway is you not meditating and not exercising and eating a lot of sugar. And you on the other side of the doorway is you meditating and feeling relaxed and eating right and exercising. And you want to walk through that door and you're willing to do some work to get there. Like you want to get your stress level, hormone levels under control, and you're willing to meditate 10 minutes a day. Well, if your underlying energies and hormones are unbalanced and they are what's creating your stress and anxiety, you could meditate a lot more than 10 minutes a day. And it's like trying to walk through a door that is closed and locked. It's going to be really difficult. Whereas getting those underlying energies and hormones balanced is like getting that door unlocked and open. And then you want to say, I'd like to walk through that door and be on the other side where I'm meditating regularly and eating right and exercising. And now all you have to do is like take one deep breath and consciously walk through the door, because the door is open. The door is no longer shut and locked. Like I know what that's like. You're trying to make a change and it is just so hard. Like you're meditating, you're eating right, you're doing everything, and you're still always on the edge with your depression and anxiety. Whereas when you can get those, under or binge eating or whatever, you can get those underlying hormones and energies balanced, then yeah, you spend 10 minutes meditating and whoa, you feel amazing. You prepare some healthy food and you start eating it and you feel so good. I remember this one woman that I was working with. This was a long time ago. She was one of my early menopausal clients. She came to me for recurrent UTIs, post-menopause. And she was one of these type A, super healthy, exercised all the time, ate so healthy. I mean, she was almost like a fanatic, she was super healthy. But she had these recurrent UTIs and she'd been on antibiotics 3 or 4 times in a row and she was sick of it. So she came to see me and I got her fixed up. with some herbs, and it took this is really common for the recurrent UTIs. It takes about 6 months for the preventative herbs to really kick in. So I put her on some other herbs in the meantime. Anyway, we worked it out. It turned out great. It totally got rid of the recurring UTIs. But she also was having issues with her diet, right? Because she had gained some weight. Now she was thin and fit, but she had gained about like 10 pounds or maybe 15 pounds. And it really bothered her because she was so fit and body conscious. And she, oh my goodness, she had been like eating so strictly and dieting and exercising. And she said she would just, she would eat all this healthy food, but then there was this one point in the middle of the afternoon where she would just get these crazy cravings for sugar. And it was like she couldn't control it. And she would eat three, really sweet muffins. And she was so frustrated and down on herself. And it was just really hard to see, and I've been there, right? She just couldn't seem to get off the sweets. And anyway, so by working with the Chinese medicine and balancing her underlying hormones and energies, because this was definitely someone who already like wanted to make the right choices when it came to food. I vividly remember her coming into my office one day and saying, when I got hungry in the middle of the afternoon, I wanted the carrot sticks, not the muffin. Like she was so excited. Like it was so easy to choose the healthier snack, right? Like her body just knew, oh, if I eat this, I'm going to feel better. Why would I want that crazy sugar? I want the thing that I know is going to make me feel better. Like it had become aligned with what she was thinking in her mind. And it was just so much easier for her to make that right choice, right? And so that's what I feel like Chinese medicine, Chinese herbs can do if you're having trouble with diet or lifestyle changes. The herbs, by balancing the underlying hormones and energies, right, by supporting that balance in your body, it can be all of a sudden like, oh, well, now when I go to start to eat healthier, it works. I just think about it and I start making the right choices. I start meditating and actually feeling better. Like it opens these doors for you. And one healthy change leads to another, right? Because once you're eating better, you have more energy, you want to exercise more. I mean, it's like one good thing leads to another and you get on this upward spiral. And so that is a reason why I often will recommend starting with herbs, even though in another way, starting with diet makes sense. If you're having trouble sticking with a healthy diet, then I say start with herbs. And when they start to kick in, come back and work on the diet. So there are so many reasons I love Chinese herbs. Whether you want a minimalist program, that's like maybe one formula you take once a day just to start to support things in a general way. Or maybe there's a few things like Miriam says that she's noticed have already gone downhill. Like I was talking to someone just recently who had broken a bone and then it had been repaired and then they had put some metal in and then like 6 months later they took the metal out, but it wasn't healing the way it should. And I was like, okay, we're going to focus on that. We're going to give you all the formulas we need to build up your energy so that you are able to well tolerate the formula that is geared at structural support at bones and tendons and ligaments and joints. I said, and we're going to give you a little higher dose of that one. And I'm going to really focus on that herbal formula for 3 months to try to really target that one thing and see if we can turn around the healing process on that injury where they took out the metal plate so they don't have to go in and do another surgery. So there might be something you've really noticed has started going downhill. And like I said, once it goes too far, right? Once it's been that way for 25 years, it's a heck of a lot harder to build it back up. So if you've just seen it starting to change, there's a lot of reasons not to wait another year to start addressing it. It'll only be harder to get it back to where you want it to be. So that is what I wanted to share about why to think about jumping in the program. Menopause Made Easy with Chinese herbs now instead of waiting 6 months or a year till it opens for enrollment again, because there's so much, because herbs are meant to be used preventatively. Like if you're 28 years old or older, it's time to start preparing for an easier menopause. So if any of you guys have questions, please put them in the comments. I would be thrilled to answer them for you. Also, if you go, I'm going to put I should have done this earlier. I'm going to put in the comments the link to the info page about the course. It is open only through tomorrow. Today and tomorrow, last days you can enroll, and then it's shutting down for quite a while. Let me just type that link for you. So on that page, you can watch a video, you can take a little quiz to see if it's right for you. There's all different ways that you can learn about the course. There's frequently asked questions, but you can also contact me. And especially tomorrow, the last day the course is open for enrollment, there's a little or ask me a question icon, and that's going to be like a live chat icon most of the day tomorrow. And I will be on my computer answering questions and chatting. We can hop on a Zoom call if you want to chat with me one-on-one about your situation, about budget for the herbs or anything else. If it's right for you, you can contact me and we can chat and really figure out if it's going to be a good match or not for you. So that is where I'm at with the program. Today and tomorrow are the last days you can enroll. And then I will be working with a new group of students closely for 12 weeks to get them fully introduced to how the Chinese herbs work and how they work for them, and to help them understand their hormones and their energies better. So I'm super excited about it. It's been so fun sharing this information. Miriam says she will PM me. Excellent. Yeah, anyone who has questions, feel free to contact me. Mary says, what kind of herbs? So Mary, I am a licensed acupuncturist and herbalist, so I work with Chinese herbs. So it's all of Chinese herbal medicine, plus I have a specialty in tonic herbalism, which is a branch of Chinese medicine that's all about vital aging, healthy aging, and longevity. So the herbs are custom combinations of Chinese herbs. So like if three women come to me with hot flashes, they're probably all going to get slightly different herbs, because the herbs need to be customized for you. Like say one of those women is, she's maybe 38 and she's having night sweats during PMS. And then another woman is 68 and she's having lingering hot flashes, many years after menopause. They need different herbal combinations, right? So it's not just hot flashes. The herbs need to be customized to you. Do you have more low hormones? Do you have stress hormones that are interfering with your female hormones? Do you have liver function issues? Like all these things that need to be taken into account. So inside the program, you go through what I call the symptom translator, and you put in how you're feeling and what stage of menopause you're at, which I totally teach you how to figure out. And then you get these combinations of herbs that you then fully customize for matching up with how you're feeling. And then in 3 or 6 months, when things change, you go back in and do it again. So the herbs stay updated with you. And you're going to end up with like one herbal formula up to like 3 herbal formulas. Sometimes there's a few supplements that I throw in optionally. And they are through my online herbal pharmacy. When you enroll in the program, you get access to my online herbal pharmacy. And there's a few different brands of Chinese herbs in the online herbal pharmacy that I draw from. I'm very, 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 very picky about herbal quality. The herbs have to be very high quality. They have to be proven by third-party labs to be completely clean and free of any possible toxins, to be high potency, to be fully tested and guaranteed. So there's only certain companies that I trust. I work with Pacific Herbs, with Con Herb Company, with Health Concerns. There's a few different ones. So it's a wide range of formulas, but only from these really top-level companies. We also have some formulas from TCM Zone. So we have the full range of Chinese medicine formulas available. And when you get into the program, you'll get a very customized combination of which formula or formulas are matched up with how you're feeling right now. And then in the program, it teaches you how to go back and reevaluate in a certain number of weeks and months over and over again. Do I stick with the same herbs? Do I keep taking them? Do I change my dose? Is it time to change my herbs, so that they stay updated, supporting you during perimenopause, supporting you during menopause, and supporting you during postmenopause? And if you weren't here at the beginning, Mary, I was talking about the Chinese medicine view that your body is able to rejuvenate itself and to continue to make all the hormones and substances and energies needed to stay vital and strong in all the years during and after menopause. So instead of sort of like replacing that ability with hormone replacement, I mean, there is a time and a place for hormone replacement. I'm not against it, but I really think if you get in sooner rather than later and you work somewhat preventatively and you're willing to do some diet and lifestyle in addition to the herbs, I think that we can most of the time we can help our bodies to do this for ourselves and to prevent so many diseases and signs of aging as we get older. So does anybody else have any questions? Mary, did I answer your questions about kind of herbs? And in terms of kind of herbs, so Chinese herbs tend to come in all different forms. I don't use in this program any of the raw herbs where you have to cook it into a smelly tea. That's not even an option. The herbs come in the form of tinctures, which is a liquid, like in a dropper. They come in a tablet or a capsule, or they come as a powder. And what I do in the program is for every formula that's recommended, I try to give you each one. So, like, say this is the formula that's recommended for you right now. You can choose if you want to get it in a liquid form, in a tablet form, or in a powder form. So you would just choose whichever you prefer taking. And then in the course, I also teach you all the different ways to take your herbs. You can take them in a tea. You can take them in a smoothie. I teach you how I make my herbal latte. You can take them in, applesauce or chocolate pudding, or you can just swallow them like a couple of pills. So I show you all the different ways to do it, the pros and cons of each one. And then when you're choosing your herbs, you find your formula, and then some of them only come like in liquid and tablet. Most of them come in liquid, tablet, or powder. So you have total choice of what kind of herbs in terms of that. It's very, very customizable. So Mary, did I answer your question about what kind of herbs, or was there something else you had in mind? And for people who are just joining us, I'm Dana Lavoie, and I've been talking about my online program, Menopause Made Easy with Chinese Herbs. Is open for enrollment today and tomorrow, and that's it. It's shutting down for many months. And I've been talking for the last half an hour or so about why to enroll now and get started with Chinese herbs sooner rather than later. How Chinese medicine is so geared at working preventatively, and how it's easier to prevent degeneration and disease than to correct it after it's happened. That if you wait a year and that whole year your cells are struggling under the burden of arthritic degeneration or dryness or high blood pressure or high blood sugar or anything, or low hormone levels, it's doing damage that's harder to reverse than it would have been if you got the herbs on board sooner to prevent that degeneration from happening. But I also was saying that in addition to that, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Does anybody have any other questions? Oh yeah, I was saying that the other reason to enroll sooner, well, there's three reasons. One is to prevent degeneration rather than try to correct it, to prevent bone loss, to prevent joint degeneration, to prevent dryness, to prevent your hormone levels from ever dropping too low and then having to kind of get your body to restart making them again, instead of just transitioning maybe from making them in your ovaries to making more of them in your adrenals, right? Help your body transition into the new ways that it continues to make hormones post-menopause. Get that going right at the start, right when your ovaries start to slow down. So that's one reason to start sooner rather than later. Another reason to start sooner rather than later is that if you start the herbs now, if you get them on board, if you get familiar with the process of using the program, finding the herbs that match how you're feeling, you get familiar with taking them, you know which kind of herbs you like best. Even if you're on a very minimal program, just for a little preventative wellness, what's going to happen is at some point in the future, something's going to happen, right? Like whether it's you get a sudden knee pain, or suddenly have trouble sleeping, or suddenly gain 20 pounds, or, suddenly something goes funky with your health or your hormones. Instead of having to scramble around at that time trying to find a way to fix it, you just are like, oh yeah, I remember reading about dry eyes in the program. Oh yeah, I remember reading about structural support in the program. Oh yeah, I remember reading about insomnia in the program. And you go back to the program and you go to that section and you put in, yeah, I'm having this problem now. And then it just tells you, oh, well then these herbs would be perfect. It's like you know there's something you can go and do, get the herbs and start to feel better in just a few weeks, instead of being like, oh my goodness, my joints are degenerating. I'm just never going to be able to go jogging again. Like this is going to be my life forever. This is because I'm getting older. Like if I didn't have that, I would be so scared of menopause coming, right? Because I'm in perimenopause right now. And already my first symptom was I got crazy mood swings during PMS, like crying and yelling, out of control. And if I had had to face the possibility of living with that every month for 15 years, like I don't know how I would have faced my life. It's just so scary. Whereas I was like, oh, that's hormones. And I just took some herbs and in within 3 months it was completely gone. It hasn't come back. It's been years. So knowing that when something crops up, instead of being like, oh my goodness, how am I going to live like this? My brain is foggy. I can't think, or, whatever it is, instead of just thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to live like this. What am I going to do? You're like, no, no, I can take control of this. I know what to do. I got to go fix it with herbs, right? I'm going to go find the herbs that are matched up for supporting this. I'm going to feel better in a few weeks. So having that tool in your back pocket gives you so much peace of mind, and you have a whole different attitude towards and relationship towards your hormones and your body, much more loving, right? And so it's great to have that ready to use when you need it. And plus, when something like that crops up, like a problem, it means your hormones are out of balance. If you can go get them in balance right away, that's so much better than, like I was saying, if they end up being out of balance for a year and a half while you figure out what the heck to do. That whole year and a half, your cells are living under the strain of your hormones being out of balance. So if you have the herbs ready to go, when something happens, an imbalance happens, you balance it right away. It's so much better for your body in terms of preventative wellness. So those are a couple of reasons not to wait, so that you're preventing rather than fixing damage after it already happens. Two, so that when something crops up, you can get a handle on it right away, instead of being like, holy crap, am I going to have to deal with this because I'm like 65 now? This is my reality. It's like, no, you want to have that tool ready when something comes up. So those are a couple of reasons to enroll now and not wait. And the third reason to enroll now and not wait is that this new version of the course, it's completely new. It's the first time I've offered this version of the course. It has 12 weeks of live support working closely with me in a private Facebook group. I've never offered that with the course before. It also has all new PDF downloads. There is a plethora of one, and they make the course so much easier. They just guide you step by step through every part of it. And also, because of COVID, I created this mini course on using herbs for the immune system, and that is included for free. So you get the so anyway, what I was going to say is the immune system mini course, the 12 weeks of working closely with me, the online pharmacy access, and all the PDF downloads. None of those were included in the course, in the old version of the course. But because of COVID, I was planning to raise the price of the course, and I decided not to do it till next time. So you can get in now at the old course price, which is just like, it's incredible. And in the future, when I reopen the course for enrollment later in the year, it's definitely going to be at a higher price. So you get the old course price, you get the 12 weeks working closely with me, you get the immune support mini course, and you get to start getting your health on the right track now, preventing problems before they happen, and being ready to correct future problems as soon as they arise. So lots of reasons not to wait a year or 6 months or even another month to get started. At least get the process in place for when you need it. And because you get lifetime access to the course. Once you're in, you're in. So does anybody else have any questions before I sign off? All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining me here today. Talking about herbs is one of my favorite things. And like I said, enrollment in the program tomorrow is the last day you can enroll. I will be on the live chat. If you go to the page that I put in the comments, danalavoie.lac.com/herbs-course. There's a little icon on that page where you can send me a message. And tomorrow that'll be live chat, and I'll be answering questions, and we can hop on Zoom calls or phone calls if you guys want to know, but I'm still not sure if it's right for me. I will be available all day tomorrow to answer your questions and chat with you to help you figure out if you want to jump on in before enrollment closes. Oh, Miriam, you're so welcome. You guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm Dana Lavoie, an acupuncturist and herbalist here in beautiful and today rainy Eugene, Oregon. I help women feel amazing using customized Chinese herbs supported by the best diet and lifestyle for their hormones during and after menopause. And I would love to share all of that with you. And I'm just, as I sign off, I'm just going to share a couple of the things that I started with at the very, very, very beginning. Chinese medicine sees menopause as a woman's second spring. A second spring is the renaissance of youthful vitality and sexual vigor she enjoys when she takes advantage of the secrets and natural powers of Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine has long recognized that the body is fully capable of regenerating and that supporting the natural production of all the essential hormones through natural means is safe, effective, and sustainable over a woman's lifetime. So teach your body to rejuvenate itself instead of replacing your body's natural abilities with something like hormone replacement therapy, and that it's important to get ready for the changes ahead. That by getting this in place preventatively, it's going to go a lot more smoothly and come out better in the end than waiting for the damage to already happen and then live with that damage while you figure out how to reverse it. So those would be reasons, plus the old course price, the immune support mini course included for free. Those would be the reasons to jump on into the course, get lifetime access today or tomorrow before enrollment is closed for many, many months. There's nothing else like this program available. And if you have any questions about whether it would be right for you, just hit me up and let's chat and find out, because it's closing down, and that'll be it for a while. All right, you guys, if you're watching the replay, put your questions in the comments or send me a direct message, and I will see you soon. And for all of you who are already in the course, I cannot wait to start working with you even more on June 1st. We've already been having such a good time in the group. It's been really amazing. I love being in there with all these women getting started with Chinese herbs and sharing everything I know with them. And I look forward to seeing more of you in there. All right, bye-bye.